There couldn't be anything further from the truth.
Deaton speaking about his opponent, incumbent U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren. He says her campaign is promoting the idea that he's against women's rights.
And I think it's time that we had someone like that. Someone who is not just loyal to a party, an agenda, or a person. Someone who is loyal to Massachusetts voters and this country.
Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and that of course is John Deaton, and he's working it every day to move up in the polls by making it known what he stands for. Were you relying on the efforts of Ripple? Remember what John fought for. It wasn't Ripple, and yes, we already won. Will the ETF be approved? That would surprise me with the latest SEC action. XRP has seen quite a dramatic drop, but 11% is really in line with almost the market across the board. I'm going to read just this first section for you, and don't take it wrong. He's just telling it like it is. He says people are so ignorant in crypto. The main driver of the current price volatility has nothing to do with the Ripple SEC news. It's entirely crypto-wide due to the global geopolitical turmoil in the Middle East, which is driving a bid on the dollar. The Dixie, the DXY, ripped yesterday, and liquidity left all the markets. So he says this will correct back soon. I shared more with my Patreons, but let me read you the last sentence because I think this is key. He says, crypto responds to global liquidity more so than any other asset class. Attorney Jeremy Hogan said that this was a big mistake appealing the programmatic sales. If Ripple wins, it will kill SEC's ability to regulate the entire space. Not a good calculated risk, in his opinion. The appeal is a right, so the appeal cannot be rejected. And he believes that the SEC is very, and he uses two, very likely to lose. Nothing will change for XRP. The asset itself is deemed, in today's world, with today's law, to be not a security. He doesn't see any reason to think that the head of the enforcement, Gruel, had anything to do with this either. So the fact that the enforcer left his position today on the same day announced, he just thinks that, well, this is just a thing of chance. Now, Brad Garlinghouse left us with a slightly different opinion. He said it certainly feels like there is something more behind this. He's talking about the gentleman leaving than what is readily apparent. The truth and the corruption always comes to light eventually. Allow me to play for you just about a minute from a speech this enforcer gave back in 2022. This is a video that I clipped up. Yeah, this will be very interesting now that we have 2 years to reflect on his words.
We will not play games during our investigations, our negotiations, or in our litigations. We don't play games like threatening potential charges to gain leverage in negotiations or at trial if we don't in good faith believe that the evidence supports recommending those charges. We don't play games with admissions. If we say during settlement negotiations that we demand admissions, we mean it, and we're prepared to litigate the case if the commission authorizes the action. We don't play games with our settlement demands. This doesn't mean that our opening offer is always our final offer, but it does mean that our offer is a product of rigorous thought about the appropriate outcome, that it's calibrated to the case and to the conduct. And while there may be flexibility in certain aspects of it, and yes, on occasion, we may get it wrong, you should not assume that everything is subject to negotiation. The enforcement process is not a bazaar. It's a serious undertaking. And I think we all need to treat it with the respect that it deserves. And for those who want to work with us more closely in this shared endeavor, I'm happy to share that we are hiring.
And moving right along, making a shift, there's some fantastic news with a low-cost remittance, a new corridor via the Zahao network blockchain. That, of course, is built primarily by the XRPL Labs, that's Weitza Wind and his team. Congratulations to INFTF. They have the Co-op Bank of Oromia, which is one of Ethiopia's largest banks. They selected this XRP ledger forked code, which was later modified to be scalable, decentralized, and with smart contracts, that would be hooks, for the Ethiopian community to send money back home. And a little bit of the backstory for the build out, Nixer FFM said, "Do you remember me tweeting about the signature firewall hook? This was something that was developed just for this bank to enable secure and compliant remittances." And a little bit more of the backstory, if you recognize these two people in the photograph. Here in front is Barath, and in the back is Thomas, and they are formerly with the XRP Ledger Foundation. If you're a Real Vision fan, they've got a crypto gathering happening in Miami, Florida, January 30th to February 1st. It is, looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. What a great place for the time of year to be in Miami. And you can see that their early bird pricing, general pass admission, is $750, and then you get the VIP pass at $2,500. That pricing is good through the 6th. I'm going to let John take you out. He's really working hard to make sure his message is clear, because Elizabeth Warren is not playing a very fair game. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
Republican candidate for U.S. Senate John Deaton calling a press conference on Tuesday after hearing from potential voters. He says he needs to make his stance on women's health issues clear. He is pro-choice, and he says he is pro-women's health. What he says, though, is that his opponents are spreading another message about him.
She's out there characterizing like, I support a ban on abortion. There couldn't be anything further from the truth.
Deaton speaking about his opponent, incumbent U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren. He says her campaign is promoting the idea that he's against women's rights. He says he's so passionate about women's rights that he would switch parties if a ban on abortion came onto the Senate floor.
Because I would look at the leadership and say, you put that on the floor, I'll switch parties. Understand? That's how committed I am. And I think it's time that we had someone like that. Someone who is not just loyal to a party, an agenda, or a person. Someone who is loyal to Massachusetts voters and this country.
Deaton says he's voted for and donated to the campaigns of both Democrats and Republicans, but he says he is a proud Republican. A spokesperson from Senator Warren's campaign told Spectrum News 1 in a statement, quote, "Who runs the Senate will determine which bills and judicial nominees get votes and which don't. And Republican control is a risk that Massachusetts cannot afford to take." Senator Warren looks forward to debating her Republican opponent on this and other critical issues facing the Commonwealth 2 weeks from today. Both Senator Elizabeth Warren and John Deaton will be participating in 2 debates leading up to Election Day. The first is on October 15th. That'll be happening in Boston. The other is October 17th in Springfield. Now, the details of both of those debates are being worked out between the campaigns. Reporting from the State House in Boston, I'm Amanda Keene, Spectrum News.